don't want to go on to a negative note now.
Okay, here we go.
But you were embroiled in a scandal a couple of weeks ago, or some have called it a scandal.
Yeah.
You got any comments on what happened, and maybe anything you'd like to say for the general viewing public who are at home?
It's difficult, to be fair. I think from the general public's point of view, there's a lot of confusion, maybe even a little bit of, I don't know, surprise at why the direction of accusations have been fixed on one person, you know. From the get-go, it seemed to be aimed at me, maybe my own persona, or maybe the fact that I'm a rookie might have led some people, like Samuel Wood, for a key example, to throw accusations at other people, you know. And the question is, like, what proof or evidence was there to suggest that that happened? Because obviously, I brought my own allegations and accusations about Samuel Wood, as you know, as the league commissioner, because it was brought to you.
Absolutely, league commissioner.
You know.
And I'm speaking as the league commissioner.
Oh, obviously.
And reporter right now. I can't speak for Samuel.
Of course, it's difficult for you to speak.
I mean, if Samuel was here, I'm sure he would argue that it has almost been it almost been said to him by you that you committed the offence, and that if you could have looked at the history, you could have seen that. I mean, I'm not speaking. I'm saying that's what we've been.
That's what
we've been maybe. Been gossip, maybe gossip would be the correct word.
I know it is difficult, but what you really have to, you know, nail down is what is more believable: the facts, the proof that I've brought to the table that an offence has been committed by Samuel himself, or a bit of gossip and a couple of rumours. And I think it's very difficult when the league commissioner, obviously Sam's a big player, you know, he's doing well, he's a strong player in the season, he's obviously a very vocal player. Very vocal player.
Absolutely.
Sometimes too vocal, you might say.
Well, yeah, but perhaps some would say. Yeah.
Most would say.
Some would say. Maybe a couple of people.
And perhaps that's led him to try and get away with more than he should have. I know he was a big player in the Charles scandal last year. That led
the scandal that obviously, just to elaborate, the Charles scandal. The Charles scandal was obviously when Mr. Smith used Wood's account, and he has admitted to that, and that's fine. Moving on from that, you've obviously been critical of the co-commissioner system, or maybe the co-commissioners themselves. Do you like the system of co-commissioners where there's a bit more democracy to answer with the co-commissioners, or would you like it to go back to, you obviously weren't part of the league when it was just myself as commissioner. If you've been critical of us as the league, as an office, do you think we're doing a good job for the league, or do you think is there a criticism from not just you but from others within the league?
Obviously, I am a first timer. I'm a first time within the league. I'm a first time within any league, so it's probably nice to get a fresh perspective of how I believe could, you know, be improved. And I think when you have the co-commissioner as yourself, undeniably stating that you practically run the league, which has been said by yourself, that you do run the league, and that Craig is, I can't remember your exact words, but along the words of puppet, that you control with strings, I think. Sorry, Craig, if you're watching this, but
apologies, Craig, that wasn't said.
Control with strings. That's something that you led us all to believe
let me answer
through
that now.
personal conversation. So the question is, is it any different? Do we actually have a co-commissioner system, or do we have one commissioner that likes to have someone on the side to try and pretend?
Let's stay on topic. The real key is with Craig, is that Craig is there to oversee and make sure that I don't overstretch my role as commissioner and co-commissioner. Craig was brought in. Craig's done a fantastic job as co-commissioner. Some brilliant article he put up a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. He's always weighed in on decisions when asked, and we really appreciate having someone in there. The decisions I make on, say, a suspension or on a waiver, like Charles moved to waiver 8, that was a joint decision with Craig. I went to Craig with an issue that was brought to my attention, and me and Craig made that decision together. You know, and that way there is no criticism of me. You say as I mentioned in an earlier post, I know some people didn't get the sarcasm behind the I'm God part of the
big statement,
video statement. This league we've worked hard for this league, and obviously you've
said many times about the hard work you do.
But
that's never in question. Your hard work is fantastic. These wonderful interviews every week are a highlight of my week. It's something I look forward to and enjoy. But you know, the real question is when are we going to get, you know, a punishment imposed on Samuel T. Wood? I don't understand why this has kind of been brushed over.
Well, you know,
since the evidence have been, have you seen the evidence that was?
I've seen the evidence, and I would argue that there is inconclusive proof that Mr. Wood committed the offence. I can understand your frustration.
Oh, I'm not frustrated. I'm just confused because
confusing.
If Charles,
I can understand your confusion because, but let me explain that Charles obviously has been a clean player for the last few weeks, but originally we gave him a warning. We gave him an opportunity. We just let him off scot-free. We said, don't do it again.
Are you saying the same deserves a warning?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that even if it was proven, would
just a warning.
Let's finish my statement.
Oh no, I was just thought you was just going to admit. I thought it was a good time
absolutely not,
to speak as Samuel and admit that you
hacked
my account. But that's fine. So if you don't want to,
hack's a strong word,
Mr.
Brunning. Hack's a strong word.
Okay, you used an account that was already on.
That's
so
libelous.
Hacked
that's
offends
libelous against the league.
Sorry, but hacking offends you. But you using an account which is already signed.
I would argue it was entrapment, and it cannot be conclusively proven. Beside the point,
entrapment, so it happened.
Beside the point, an attempted entrapment. So
Correction.
Correct. And he attempted.
That's on record that he did just say entrapment. So
he's shown. I misspoke in an interview. I apologise.
That's okay.
I would say that even if Wood had committed an offence, it would only be a warning he would have been given. I think we've moved on from that.
I think that's fair.
I think we've moved on from the offence now. Then we're in a better place. I don't think this needs to be brought back up and re-dug up. You know.
I think if a sanction was imposed, it would be a lot easier for the league to move on, and it would feel kind of just. You think your position as a co-commissioner, you would retain some of that respect. It's difficult.
Well, I think I've gained that respect. I think I've already got that respect. I think I've not lost any respect throughout the league. I think I'm respected the same. I know I speak for some of the league who I spoke to in confidence, and they are fully behind my leadership. Even if it went to just me and my own commission, they'd be fully behind it.
Yeah, I just think it's difficult because then the person who did this to your account would never step forward because they know that if you can't punish yourself...
Well, the person who did this to my account knows who they are and they'll have to live with themselves. And frankly, it just shows how good a player Wood is. That people constantly try and get into his account.
Did it affect your team's performance?
Obviously not, on top of the league.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So clearly, it wasn't aimed at that. The person that did it must have just...
Perhaps it was, perhaps it wasn't.
Maybe it's psychological age.
Maybe true. That in itself, though, is...
The real question is, why are you not trying to find who actually did it?
Well, the Commissioner's Office would love to know. We'd love to hear from you if you've got any evidence. As a player, I know Wood is totally fine with being 7-3 top of the league and moving into the playoffs, and with what some are saying, the greatest fantasy team of all time. Not my words, other people's words.
It's your words.
Other people's words.
Can you quote anyone on that? Quote who said it?
Unnamed sources.
Time and reference.
I haven't asked them. I can't give their names out. This is again privacy and things like that. Let's move on from this issue because this is obviously not going to move anywhere with the commissioner and me.
Nothing moves with the commissioner. Was it or was it the co-commissioners? Was there two or one?
I am a commissioner. And so is Craig.
With the commissioner, or
it's sort of a nickname that people have. The commish.
Ah, okay.
You know, from last year.
To you and Craig. Does Craig get that too?
Craig is the commish.
Oh, okay. Craig, do you want to look at the camera and say that?
Commish Craig Willis. I love Craig Willis. Craig.
The commish.
You're doing a swell job. Right. Anyway, let's move on. If not you, if you're not winning it this year, if you're not going to make that run out of the regular season and the playoffs, who would you like to see? Obviously, the regular season, it's looking like a 2-horse race. Maybe with Charles and there's a 3-horse race. If not you, who would you like to see win it? And maybe a reason why?
It's a good question. A very good question. But as a competitor, as, you know, the only one in this room that has actually achieved something in sport, I feel like I've got a bit of strong competitiveness, really strong competitiveness. So it's difficult for me to put myself in the shoes of another person and will them to win, in a sense.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're at home watching in week 17, which you probably, let's be honest, the odds say he will be. And I'd just like to squash the rumour that none of us have sporting achievement. I am Hadley Park double champion.
How's the singles go?
Singles lost in
the final. That's a good performance.
Thanks to the league player Simon Cave.
Second place.
There is absolutely something wrong with second place. I'm the league champion, so let's just I'm regular season champion.
It's a very, very good, very local league. Very good, local.
Also won the Southend District. So.
Again, local. That's good. Very good.
County.
That's county. Sorry. Wow. Very, very good county.
I play a sport that's more popular, but anyway, who wins? So there's no one you want to see.
I'd have to say George Ashley. I think his commitment to his team
is poor.
No, it's fantastic. I think sometimes he's taking a step back, and it takes a lot.
He's playing by player. He's not looking at his team.
But he knew He knew. He's got a great sense of his opponent. He realised Si was going to have a bad week. He's foreseen that. I think that's fantastic play. I think we don't give him enough credit.
Well, this question sort of answers itself then. This is going to come across a bit strong, but who's more of a joke? Simon Kay or George Ashley?
It's tough. The difficulty is that George Ashley is very intelligent, isn't he? As we both know, he's a very intelligent man. He's off at university. He's probably working very hard in his studies. I think Simon, deep down, is actually working a lot harder with his fantasy football. He knows he's not going to excel in university. He knows, as we both know. Intelligence for Simon.
I think he lacks confidence.
Intelligence. You weigh it up.
Yeah.
So for Si, I think this is his life. As we both know, he's very...
Well,
very
he's called
vivid fan.
He's called the NFL analyst around. People call him that.
Exactly.
In a sort of, people was thinking that he's actually an NFL analyst. It's sort of a sarcastic quip that he 100%. Thinks he is, and he's obviously his knowledge is a bit.
But I do think that if we were to walk into his university halls, around his room, you would find numbers, you would find posters, you would find pictures of every player in the NFL. Within his team, wow. I think he'd have facts, figures to back it up. But it's just not all there.
Numbers don't win championships.
Numbers don't win championships, as you know.
Yeah. You've been critical of the big trade this year that's happened. What's your criticism of the trade, and why do you feel it's been a negative on the league? Because there's been obviously as commissioner, co-commissioner, sorry, misspoke. I see the trades coming in, and it surprises me there's not more. Does it surprise you?
I think it's a shame. I think it's the one thing that the league really does need a bit more of. I think the trades are the exciting things, but as I had a discussion with Samuel Tewood today, and we've both said that it looks as though players in the league are very scared. They're obviously scared of making a mistake. I myself, as a rookie, for every trade, I feel like someone's trying to get something out of me. Yeah. When I think we both need to work together. Obviously, there are trades out there, Thomas Smith, that we need to look at and just agree on. That's a rumour. That's a rumour.
It's breaking news on the show now. Wow.
But I just feel like we're not all out there to try and cheat you, rob you, or bully you like some other people within the league that don't need to be named, but we're not always looking.
Well, there's only one trade this year, so you're obviously talking about either S Wood or SK.
Well, you can decide from yourselves from how that trade worked out for both players. But as I'm saying, it would be nice for other players maybe to take a risk. This time in the season, it would be very exciting. It's so close towards those playoff spots. It'd be exciting stuff.
All right, a couple more questions, then we'll move. We'll end the interview.
I think
if you could have one player of any team, who would it be?
Right now, or are we talking...
I mean, you can say right now, maybe one at the start of the year you would have picked up if you could have had anyone. Maybe when you were drafted, who would you have liked to have... If you had first pick in the draft, which you did have, actually.
I did have.
Ironically, you had the first pick. So you chose Jamal Charles, obviously.
I did, yep.
Was that a heart or head decision?
That was a head. That was through
head
research.
Decision.
That was...
What would your heart have picked there?
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. Who would you like right now as a player?
Right now... There's no lies out there for players out there with a few too many running backs. There's no lies that I am looking for a running back. Obviously, I've got Jamal Charles. I think he's going to have some cracking weeks ahead. But I think my second position as running back is a bit weak at the moment. I've tried to pick up a few players and it's just not happening.
Okay, let's say you're looking for a running back. Last question. Real life NFL. Who's going to the Super Bowl and who's winning it? Saints. And who will they be playing? Do you got any ideas? Denver?
Saints. Okay,
Saints are going to the Super Bowl. Well, thank you, Andrew. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Hands out to shake. It's been rejected it's been accepted. As Commissioner, I'd like to welcome more of you onto this show. So if anyone is interested, please contact me and let me know. Or Craig. Craig's always up for an interview, I'm sure.
Lastly,
co-commish. Lastly, thank you to our sponsor, Highland Spring.
Thank you, Highland.
The best water money can buy. Good luck at your games this week, and I hope to be able to review a positive result for you next week on Tuesday evening. So, thank you and good night.